think it was? Well, I know they say that you can't judge a book by its cover, but it looked like a paedophile to me. I got the carpenters next door, making a right racket. And, oh sorry, by that I don't mean Karen. No, I got some chippies in, making me some bookcases. Whoa, daylight. Did anybody feel a draft? I hope that cat's all right. Yeah, we went to Australia sort of quite early on, while the Beatlemania thing was still at its height, in '64. So it was quite an event that Brian put together, considering how far away it is and everything, and the logistics of playing out there. And we were still enjoying touring at that point. It was still, something fresh and new, and then the sort of all the fan adulation and everything everywhere we went. So it hadn't sort of palled on us by that point. It was still a bit of an adventure. John took Mimi with us. It was a bit of a vacation, as the Americans call it. I know there was a lot of issues around when we got there. Because, of course, it's the little things, isn't it, that make the big differences. As I always say to Barbara. Brian didn't realise, and well, none of us did really until we sort of tried to get plugged in, that the Australians, well, they work on a completely different type of electricity. The plugs wouldn't work on the amps. So, we had to send Mal out to get some more plugs and stick them on the amplifiers. But I'm not sure they worked properly because I know they were blowing up like bloody crazy at one point until we got the ampage right. I think Mal had always got a pocket full of fuses. 1, 2, 3, 4! Now, I'm not an electrician, but I think we might have got a problem with the amps. And I don't know if anybody's noticed, but my sticks are smoking tonight. But you see, I'd been expecting it all to be sort of like England, the language and the culture and everything. It's always comforting, I find, if you go into a country that's got a Union Jack on its flag. It's a big sort of tick in a box for me, that is, Union Jack on a flag. Because you know pretty much what to expect, that they're going to speak English for a start. And you can probably get HP sauce somewhere. So yeah, I thought, well, it's going to be pretty much like being at home, except for the weather and that. Because, I mean, you always saw sort of pictures of people having the Christmas dinner on the beach and thing. You'd never dream of doing that here, would you? You know, sort of taking your turkey down to Formby Sands or something. You'd have to be bloody mad. But no, in Australia, they're doing it all the time. Every Christmas they're out there, you know, on Bondi Beach, pulling a cracker. So I thought, yeah, well, it's going to be like England, but warm. But actually, the culture is quite different. You know, and the language and the slang and everything. I mean, their accents for a start. I don't know if that's from the convicts or what it is, where they've picked that one up, but it's a bloody odd sort of little way of talking. But anyway, as usual, we got there, sort of get bombarded by all the press, the photographers and everything. And then Brian's arranged this round of interviews for us to do. And I remember speaking to this guy in Sydney from one of the radio stations. And, you know, I said, you know, welcome to Australia and all that. Cobbers. I'm sure he put a Cobbers in there. You know, they all seem to do that.
Hey, mister, can we have our ball back?
And this guy says to me, well, you've been in Australia for a couple of days now. Have you experienced a didgeridoo yet? I said, well, you know, I was a bit bunged up after the flight, but I managed to go this morning. And he just sort of looked at me for a moment or two, you know. And then he said, no, I don't think you understand. Have you experienced a didgeridoo? I said, who? You. Have you had a didgeridoo? And I said, who? And he said, you. Have you had a didgeridoo? So we went on like this for God knows how long. I had not got a bloody clue what he was talking about. You know, and I'm thinking, it could not be more foreign, this, if it tried. And I says, listen, mate, I've just told you. I'm not going to keep going over it. I've been this morning. Because I thought it was some sort of, you know, Australian rhyming slang or something. But then he explains to me, you know, what a didgeridoo is. And it's this, like, musical instrument that they've got over there, which is like a sort of log that you blow into. Obviously, it's like a hollow log, or, you know, you wouldn't get any sound out of it. You know, unless you hit it with something. So he explained this, and I said, no, not yet. We haven't sort of encountered a didgeridoo yet. And I don't think anybody in England had. You know, not until Rolf Harris brought out his song, you know, about the sun coming up early in the morning, which, I mean, seemed a bit bloody obvious as a lyric to me. Sun to rise early in the morning. Well, it's not going to bloody come up at night, is it, you know? Now George turned to him and said, you know, hey, Harold, put this in your pipe and smoke it. Which, to be fair to the guy, you know, he did. Stoned out of his mind he was, you know, within a couple of minutes. And apparently, shortly after that, he took a call from Lyndon Johnson, you know, the President of the United States of America at that time, who was wanting him to, you know, commit to putting troops into Vietnam, you know, British troops. And Harold was so stoned out of his head at this point and, you know, relaxed and laid back, he told him to bugger off. So in some ways you could say that the Beatles were responsible for, you know, Britain not going into Vietnam. Just because George gave Harold Wilson a bit of green.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that, Harold.